On Fox News guest Jonathan Hoenig said that those advocating mandatory vaccinations are going down a slippery slope to possible forced abortion. Here's what he had to say.
Forced. I mean, and vaccines, immunizations, Eric, in my opinion, should never be forced, never be required by government, even for the so-called public good. Think about where this could lead if government gets involved in science and medicine. Forced sterilizations, forced abortion, forced pills, forced treatments. Government's job is to protect you from infectious diseases, however. So I think if someone has mumps, if someone's contagious, then they should be forcibly quarantined by government because they are a risk to the public at large.
Where are you on this?
The whole concept of forced vaccination is ridiculous at its face, because remember that when we talk about forced abortion, before we get to forced abortion, when we talk about forced vaccination, there are different terms that are being kind of mixed there. So saying that the government comes to people's homes and forcibly vaccinates them is drastically different than all public schools saying, you don't have to vaccinate your kid, but if your kid is going to attend our school, they are required as a matter of policy to have these vaccinations. And if you don't want to have those vaccinations, that's fine, but your kid can't come to this school. And the discussions around so-called force with regard to vaccinations completely ignore that required vaccinations for participation in certain programs is drastically different than men with guns showing up to vaccinate you, which some people agree that we should have, but they're two different things.
I think a lot of these people don't see it as two different things. I think they see it as the same thing, that their children cannot go to this school because of vaccinations, or that their child can't do something else. I don't think they see a difference there.
Yeah, maybe they don't. And of course, they really should also see the difference between, even if we had forced vaccination, how that would have nothing whatsoever to do with forced abortion, and that the slippery slope that they're pointing to is completely non-existent. Forcing someone to have an abortion contrary to their choice would have zero benefit to public health, while 48 out of 50 states require that children entering public schools be vaccinated against communicable diseases to protect the public. So while they might say, well, it's government force in both cases, when you look at the impetus behind that hypothetical force, you quickly see that it's yet another one of these bogus slippery slopes that almost doesn't even require, it almost doesn't warrant serious analysis, although Fox News apparently thinks that it does.
It is a bogus argument, but for a lot of these people, it's all about personal freedoms. And so every other argument can, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it.
It's quite a perversion of so-called freedom and liberty. We have a great interview coming up next about quiet vehicles, as well as kind of texting while driving. I want to talk about that as well. Stay with us.